I was afforded the opportunity to study in London my spring semester of my junior year, and then Grinnell allowed me to go to Spelman College and do a domestic exchange program there. So the bulk of my presentation is just talking about the stereotypes I had about the places I was going to before, and how actually traveling and being immersed in these environments eliminated a lot of stereotypes I had. So what I did was I asked two of my friends from Spelman and Morehouse to just talk about some stereotypes that they've heard that other colleges or people in general have about HBCUs, which is historically black colleges. And then I had asked two of my friends in London to do a video, but their video didn't show up, so I'm going to read what they wrote. So we can start with the Spelman and Morehouse video.
Hello, my name is Ariel McGill, a junior at Spelman College.
Hi, my name is Timothy Jones, and I'm a graduating senior at Morehouse College. Things that I heard or perceptions about HBCUs that I've heard in the past are that we don't academically challenge our students, that the curriculum is not as advanced or challenging as predominantly white institutions.
I've also heard that our campus is not as diverse as predominantly white institutions, but here we have students from all over the globe. Also, another thing that I've heard is that we like to party a lot and that we're very social, but what school isn't?
Thank you.
And then basically what my friends from England said, and I'll try the best to do my best English accent. Do not judge me. If I was in London, I would never do this. But she said, "There are some people in England who stereotype Americans as either health freaks or obese. Others that think all American teenage girls are pregnant. I believe this is because of the media. Americans have a show called 16 and Pregnant. There are so many pregnant teen moms and dads on MTV. Also in London, they have a show called Super Size vs. Super Skinny. They get all the super skinny team from Europe and all the super size team from America. But I don't think these stereotypes are true. I don't believe all Americans are fat and pregnant." So, with that, I'm going to start my presentation. The halls of my Spelman College dorm, LLC-1, were filled with the sounds of Southern rap. This song called Raps on Raps was played by almost every girl on my floor. It soon became my alarm and the lullaby that put me to sleep. Although a catchy tune, Southern rap was something I wasn't used to, especially after spending 5 months traveling throughout Europe. During a visit to Ireland, I fell in love with a two-man band that I heard playing during a pub crawl. When my Spelman roommate left for classes, I would turn up and dance to my Irish music. But when I heard her key in the door, I'd become an Olympic champion and jumping over hurdles of clothes and leaping over my desk chair to turn my iPod to some normal music, like Beyonce. But one day she caught me. I had stepped out of the room and forgot to switch off my Irish music. As I hurried back to the room, it was too late. To my surprise, Diamond, my African-American Southern roommate, was bobbing her head and lip-syncing to the Irish music. She quickly raised her head and said, "I thought I was the only one who knew this song." Me, shocked, I said, "Girl, I thought I was the only one who knew this song." This reminded me of the lessons that I learned while studying abroad in Europe. Not to assume, to listen empathetically, and to be open to new ways of thinking. I learned not to assume people acted or were a certain way because of their outward appearance. I learned to listen and to understand other people's rituals, beliefs, and actions. And I also learned to assimilate and adapt to different environments and ways of living. My experiences in Europe have allowed me to look at differences in others not as bizarre and strange, but unique and inspiring. In Spain, I was astonished to see that several teenage girls were in love with the same pop idol, Justin Bieber, and had caught Bieber fever just like every other girl in America. In Ireland, I witnessed a different style of dress, and in Italy, I embraced their love for food and also saw that Italians are one of the hardest working people. They are very dedicated to their trade. In London, I was amazed that they hosted an Afro-Caribbean carnival almost identical to the carnival in the Caribbean islands. Traveling throughout Europe, I developed the passion to learn and discover other cultures vastly different from my own. So, after spending 5 months in Europe, I assumed that Spelman College would be an easy transition, seeing as how it's a historically black university and it's an all-women's college, and I'm black and I'm a female. So, like my friend said, I stereotyped HBCUs. I saw them as not diverse, and I saw that they were concerned with more social events than academics. I thought I was just going to have a good time, but this was not the case. Spelman College is one of the most prominent institutions of higher education in the country. The college provides students with an academic climate conducive to the full development of academic and leadership potential, endeavoring to strengthen those qualities that enable women to be self-confident as well as spiritually and culturally enriched. Spelman attempts to instill in students an appreciation for the multicultural communities of the world in which they live and a sense of responsibility for bringing about change in those positive change in those communities. The men and women of Morehouse and Spelman take their education very seriously. I remember the first time I had to do a presentation. Everyone was dressed up in suits, the girls had on stockings and skirts, and me coming from the middle of the cornfields where it's acceptable to walk around the school barefoot, I showed up to the presentation class in ripped jeans and a t-shirt. And I didn't look so hot having to present after the boy in a three-piece suit and the girl with 5-inch heels. In addition, their school spirit and support for one another is truly one of a kind. They refer to each other as brother and sister. Freshman year, each female that attends Spelman College and each male that attends Morehouse are matched up, and they call each other brother and sister, and they're expected to look out for each other, help each other, and ultimately help each other graduate. Overall, because of studying off campus, I have a greater value for my education. In London, I witnessed mass riots protesting against the raise in tuition, and at Spelman, I was astonished to see girls moving out in the middle of the semester because they could no longer afford tuition. These instances made me value financial aid, scholarships, and my parents' money a lot more than I did before. And lastly, the range of characters that I met in my experience abroad and at Spelman was a lesson in the versatility of the individual. I found that I could relate and often even empathize with people who seemed a lifetime and a world away from me. I began to value the individual story, whether it was the Italian woman on the Vaporetto in Venice who, in broken English, vented about her 6 daughters moving to America and leaving her all alone, or my friend at Morehouse who lost both of his parents to drugs and violence when by the age of 11, but managed to attend graduate school at Georgia State University and is on the track to owning his own hotels. Or the British man on the tube who teased me for coloring in a coloring book just to amuse myself on the way to class. Through my engagement with people on planes, buses, and Vaporettos, I've compiled a catalog of narratives and people. I so greatly appreciate the variety in the individual stories that I never want to limit my own identity and have grown fond of the idea of remaking myself according to the life lessons these people and my experiences have taught me. Thank you so much. And these are just the last of my slides.